When you play the Game of Thrones,
Subscribe and like.
you die. There is no middle ground.
Welcome back to the Grease Goblins YouTube channel. Today's video, we're going to be talking about Barry the Bold. Will he survive the winds of winter? Will he die? I know for a lot of people out there, you already know what my thoughts are on this, but we're going to talk about that in today's video. And before you comment this, the winds of winter's never coming out. Stop. Why are you even making this video? Then why are you clicking on the video, silly? All right, let's continue. I just had to get that out of the way because anytime I make a winds of winter video, that's always like 3 people that just have no brain cells always comment that, so I just enjoy it. But let's actually get into it. So given the Battle of Fire, the current battle right now is going extremely well for the free forces of Barristan and co. It's going really well. Victarion has just landed. Their forces are doing really well against the slavers. Barristan himself with the Unsullied, they're breaking these slaver forces. Again, everything is pointing to Meereen is winning, right? The dragons are also seeming to play a role in this as well. Tyrion is getting the second sons to flip to Daenerys' side. Everything that could possibly go wrong for the slavers is going wrong. So the real question is there going to be a turn in this battle? And if there is, what is it going to be? The battle seems to be going a little too well. So what's going to happen? So there's 2 main wild cards of this battle that I think could put a major twist on the Battle of Fire. And also, given the fact that this was supposed to be the end of the Book and a Dance, you have to think there was some kind of climax or big moment coming for this plotline outside of Daenerys and her stuff with Drogon. And the closest I can come to this is one of 2 things. One, Dragonbinder is going to be blown, and that is either going to bind a dragon to Euron or maybe Victarion. I highly doubt it. Or maybe it's just going to cause the dragons to go wild, and that maybe gets Barristan killed or something. That's the massive wild card. The massive wild card is Dragonbinder, and if A, it's blown, and 2, it's effect. We still don't know exactly. But the other major wild card here is, what does Skahaz the Shavepate do? Skahaz the Shavepate and Barristan have formed this uneasy alliance that very much, to me, reminds me of Ned and Littlefinger. And also remember, Skahaz has control of Meereen right now. Barristan is out in the field. All the Unsullied are out in the field. Skahaz and his forces right now are on the gate, and they have control of Meereen. So could Skahaz betray Barristan? Very easily he could. Again, all of Daenerys' real support has just gone out the gates. Not much of it is still left in Meereen. Skahaz could easily close the gates, and now we have a reverse siege. Now it's Barristan and his forces now have to then take over Meereen again. And you think about what that could do, because the issue you have with having a whole nother book, really, of this Meereenese resolution is we have to have some sort of conflict going on here. We can't just have like Tyrion, Victarion, and Barristan just like chatting and trying to do politics for a whole book. I just don't think that's going to happen. So we have this situation in which Tyrion, Barristan, and Victarion, our main, POVs for the Meereen stuff, are going to meet. This is very interesting. Barristan right now is in control of Daenerys' camp at this point. So Tyrion coming into things is going to be very interesting. How does Barristan deal with these different personalities and people? A Greyjoy and a Lannister. Never would have thought you would have seen that in Meereen. And so I think that for the most part, Barristan is going to have to ally with people like Tyrion and like Victarion because he's going to see their value, right? Victarion is bringing Daenerys a fleet. Tyrion is bringing, again, knowledge of Westeros. He's a good politician, and he's somebody with a smart mind. I think Barristan will recognize those things, and either way, I don't think that he will be the one that decides their fates. I think it'll be Daenerys. So I think Barristan will work with them because he needs to, right? Because maybe Meereen is locked out for him, or maybe if Meereen isn't, well, either way, the city is still in a really bad situation with the Sons of the Harpy, and even the political turmoil going on within Meereen with characters like Hizdar, who's now in prison, the Green Grace that seems to be kind of maybe this leader of the Sons of the Harpy. There's a lot you're going to have to figure out. And I think Barristan is not a very good political man, is going to struggle with that. And so I think Tyrion will be somebody that his reputation is going to go up. I think that when Daenerys gets back, I kind of think it'll be like during when the Volantis fleet gets to Meereen and they're sieging Meereen, or they're going into some sort of battle with Barristan's forces. I think that the state of the city will reflect poorly on Barristan's leadership, and that's why I think when Daenerys gets back, someone like Tyrion will get a lot more like favor, because he's somebody that was actually doing better things than Barristan was in terms of ruling. Got to remember, Barristan has imprisoned Hisdar, who we don't even know if he's truly part of the Sons of the Harpy or if he's just like a figurehead or any of those things. Barristan did all of those things, without Daenerys being here. He took massive political steps and started playing the game himself. So we could see a situation where, again, the whole book I think will be a lot more about Barristan trying to navigate this Meereenese knot alongside of these new characters being introduced with Tyrion and Victarion. I think that'll be very interesting. Now we get with Daenerys comes back. She's going to wipe out the Volantis fleet. She just has to. So we're going to see a situation in which Daenerys then starts going to Westeros. I really believe that Barristan is going to survive this book, mainly based upon the fact that I think he has more to give to the story in terms of we're just now getting into kind of this Blackfire lore that George has really peppered in the last 2 books. Seems to be pointing to young Griff being a Blackfire. It would make so much sense for Barristan to be alive and to be able to realize that he didn't kill the last male Blackfire, that young Griff is the last Blackfire at this point. I think there's a lot that could be really interesting with Daenerys trying to struggle between, is young Griff a Blackfire, a pretender? Is he an actual Targaryen? And even Barristan, how does he feel about that, right? Because young Griff would be, if he's a Targaryen, the rightful heir, not Daenerys. But what if it comes out and they find out with Illyrio that he is actually a Blackfire? How does Barristan deal with that given his history with the Blackfires? I think personally, Barristan dies in Westeros fighting probably young Griff or Euron. I think it makes more sense to lose Barristan for Daenerys and what that'll do to her personally in Westeros, not when she's not even in Meereen. That death does not hold as much meaning, right? This is my whole argument of why I don't think Barristan dies in Meereen, at least when Daenerys is not there, is that it just loses some of its meaning, right? Because Daenerys needs to be there to react to it, to witness his death, in my opinion. And if he just dies in this battle of fire, we don't have anybody that really can react to it or really cares all that much. Tyrion doesn't really know Barristan all that well. Yes, the two would have been at King's Landing. They would have known of each other, but Tyrion doesn't have this great liking to Barristan, and Victarion even less. So to me personally, I think what we'll see with Barristan throughout Winds of Winter is kind of a continuation of his End of Dance with Dragons arc, where he's kind of becoming more of a politician. The really tough situations he finds himself, very similar to Ned in Book 1, interacting with the new POVs, and then traveling with Daenerys and trying to, I think, be the good angel on her side, taking the more dutiful and honorable route. Whereas I think Tyrion will be pushing the other side of that, looking at the bleakness and the darkness of the world, pushing more maybe crueler acts. And so that is where I kind of end with Barristan, is I think he survives Winds of Winter, but I think he is a massive candidate to die in A Dream of Spring if we ever get the books. Let me know what you guys think about Barristan in the Winds of Winter, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Bye, guys.